The weather was cold and damp. A thick fog enveloped the narrow streets of the city, swallowing the dim lights and muting every sound. Sarah tightened her grip on her umbrella and hurried across the deserted street. It was past midnight. The rain fell steadily, and the echo of her footsteps rang hollow through the empty alleys, as if the city itself had fallen into a deep, uneasy sleep. Suddenly, an unfamiliar sensation crept into her chest, the feeling that someone was walking behind her. Soft, drawn-out footsteps blended with the rhythm of the rain. Her heart began to race. She slowed her pace, slowly, cautiously, and turned her head. There was no one, only a flickering street lamp and fog twisting through the air like restless spirits. She exhaled shakily and lowered her gaze. I imagined it. I'm just tired. But when she started walking again, the sound returned. Closer this time. She listened carefully. The footsteps moved when she moved, and stopped when she stopped. Fear spread through her body like ice. She glanced at the walls lining the street. A shadow shifted across the stone. Impossible. There was no one there. Her breath caught as she quickened her pace. The shadows followed, stretching and shrinking beside her, as if something invisible was walking in the darkness, something that could only be seen when it touched the walls. Her house came into view, only a few meters left. With trembling hands, she pulled her keys from her bag and fumbled with the lock. The door finally opened. She slipped inside and slammed it shut behind her, locking it with shaking fingers. Sarah leaned against the wall, gasping for air. The house was drowned in darkness. A faint glow seeped in through the window. Silence filled the space. Heavy, absolute silence. Then a soft whisper brushed her ear. Sarah? I've been waiting for you. Her breath froze in her chest. The voice was right beside her. Quiet, drawn out, and horrifyingly familiar. It sounded exactly like her own. She snapped on the light. Nothing. No one. Only empty rooms and stillness. With unsteady steps, she walked toward her bedroom. Every instinct screamed for her to turn back, but something inside pulled her forward, as if this nightmare demanded an ending. She pushed the door open. Wet footprints stained the bed. They didn't lead from the door. They began in the middle of the room. Her scream died in her throat when another whisper rose, this time from inside the closet. Just an illusion. Just an illusion. Her own words. But she hadn't said them. So who was whispering in her voice? Sarah staggered backward. Her throat was dry, her heart hammering violently. Her eyes locked onto the closed closet door. Darkness leaked from its edges, shadows writhing as though something inside was breathing. Run! Her mind screamed, but her body refused to obey. The voice came again, slow and intimate. Sarah, why don't you open the door? It was her voice, perfectly hers, the same tone she used when talking to herself. Impossible. She swallowed hard, forcing reason into her thoughts. I'm hallucinating. I'm exhausted. But the cold, damp stench seeping from the closet was real. Her hand reached for the handle. Silence. Then the closet shook violently, as if something had hurled itself against the door from the inside. Sarah jumped back, choking on fear. There was no doubt anymore. Something was inside. The walls darkened unnaturally. Shadows rippled across the ceiling, bending and stretching as if the room were collapsing inward. The air turned icy, each breath visible. Slowly, very slowly. The closet door began to open by itself. It creaked on rusty hinges. Beyond it lay absolute blackness, so deep it felt endless, empty, or perhaps hiding something that did not belong to this world. Then something emerged. First, a hand, long, thin, shaped like shadow. It wrapped around the doorframe and pushed the door wider. Sarah's eyes widened. The figure stepped forward. It looked exactly like her, but wrong. Its skin was paler, its eyes darker, hollowed by something unnatural, and its smile, too wide, too knowing. "We finally met," the shadow whispered, smiling with her lips. Sarah couldn't move. She couldn't scream. She only stared. And then the shadow lunged. Darkness swallowed the room. Silence fell. The next morning, Sarah woke up. She stared at her hands. They seemed longer. She stepped in front of the mirror. Her eyes were darker now. She smiled. And from that moment on, no one noticed that Sarah was no longer herself.